Unless you've been living under a rock this year, you will know the Momentum C-Quartz 30 watch and all the raving that has gone on about it. I believe they're in a phase 3 order, maybe phase 4. And they've also gone into moving from stainless steel into a black PVD version. So I've owned a Momentum watch previous to that. I currently own a C-Quartz 30, very pleased with it. Recently, on a local Facebook Marketplace ad, a gentleman was selling a St. Moritz, or Moritz, or however you want to pronounce it, dive watch. Now, if you're not aware, Momentum, prior to being Momentum, the parent company is called St. Moritz, and it went under that branding for quite some time in the 70s and 80s, right into the early 2000s, maybe. So, the St. Moritz dive watch that I found on Facebook Marketplace was a 500 meter professional diver. Looks a lot like a tuna. I just got it today, and I was aware that the quartz movement wasn't working. Still bought it. Just really hoping to sort of score this older vintage watch. So I'm going to turn the camera around, and we're going to actually open it up here right now. So here you go, Momentum C-Quartz 30. I've got it on a watch steward elastic, very comfortable. Here's the watch that I picked up. So the guy had it up for sale for $250. Managed to make a reasonable negotiation to $150, but the watch as it is isn't working. So here you go, strap. So it's got a lot of character per se, a lot of damage to the case, lots of scuff marks. You can see the case sides. Definitely a lot of tuna-ish flair to it and design elements to hands and so on. Everything, just about everything about it is tuna-ish. No lugs, lugless case design. So there it is. Date at the 3, St. Moritz at the 12, professional 500 meters at the 6, and down there in the bottom, pretty sure we're going to see, yes, Japanese. I got to put on my own glasses to see this, even on the camera. VX42 movement. I've done very little research. I went straight home, I purchased watch, and I've driven straight home with it, and I've had no time because under the zoom here now, it's wow, that crystal is destroyed. And he warned me that it was in horrible condition. I did not care. The bezel operates great, very tactile functioning. The crown, yep, no issues with the crown. It backs out easily all the way to the second position. The hands, no issues there. Hand movement is good. Now, let's keep going here. I think, yeah, so that's a midday. I get a date change. So I've got to check the case here now, open up the case back and check the, yeah, so there we go, date movement. But I thought it had a quick set date. But I've got a feeling that the quick set isn't working. Yeah, the quick set may not be working, if it has a quick set at all. Something I'll figure out soon once I research that movement. So he warned me that he's owned it since about the year 2000. He was a dive instructor and worked for the Canadian Coast Guard, and he wore this watch pretty much every day for the last 23 years. He's retired, didn't care much for the watch, thought it was more of a tool Really just saw it as a function of his dive gear, which he has sold all of. And I happen to snag the watch. But it's definitely, that's overspray. It looks like spray paint, and it looks like it's been scrubbed. He claims he's sent it to St. Moritz or to Momentum every 4 to 5 years for a battery change and a pressure test. So I'm hoping that when I open up the case back here now, what I'm going to find is just the movement without any major damage, and after which, if I can put a battery in it, I will. If I cannot get a battery for it locally, then I may send it to have it serviced by Momentum. That's really tough there right now. Let's try again. Oh yeah, no problem. We're all going to get to see it here together. This is my first time. There's even paint here on the back. I don't know if that's something you can see, but we are about to find out what's underneath here. Woohoo! It looks clean, clean, clean. The battery has some ink marks on it. It definitely looks like it's in good shape. The O-ring is chewed up. I can see some marks on the O-rings. So I'm going to take it to a local watch maker. Battery looks to be in good condition. No leakage. Oh, could that be 1017 written on the battery? 1017. Wowzers. So that's 2017. I would put it at October 2017, the last time it was serviced. You can let me know in the comments if you agree with that, if that's a typical watchmaker's practice. I'm looking at the inside of the case back. No watchmaker markings in there. There's a little bit of dirt maybe. Yep, that was just a little bit of dirt that was in there. That could have been part of the O-ring. And so, wow, I'm very, very, very excited about this. It looks very clean. No issues in there regarding battery leakage. I'm going to turn it around to see if I can get a good view on the right there, Epson. So it is a Seiko Epson Corp. Well, I would say Seiko. That's probably not fair, but either way, Epson Corp Movement Corporation, Japan. Is that no jewels? Alrighty. Well, I could not be happier with the results of that. I'm banking on the fact that it's only going to need a battery to become functional. It definitely needs an O-ring. I can see with the naked eye right here, there's a bit of the O-ring. It's not quite yeah. So I would challenge that the O-ring is definitely in need of replacement, and the battery is definitely in need of a replacement. But overall, I could not be happier with what I've just discovered. Let's take a look at the battery type. I don't believe I have one here. Whoops. Sony. Oh my, how can I stand up and get a look at this? SR927. I believe I had a tough time finding that one locally, but I will take a look. Well, I don't know if I could be any happier with the outcome so far. I just need to get myself a battery for this one over the next day or so. Find a battery locally. I suspect I will end up at our local watchmaker here in Newfoundland, Grand Time, Swiss watchmaker, Swiss trained watchmaker, and I'll get him to take a look at maybe throwing in an O-ring, something comparable. He's quite capable in that regards, and get an O-ring for it and get a new battery in it and see what it looks like to get it tested again, pressure tested. Yeah, don't worry about me scratching it up here now. I mean, it's been scratched quite a bit over its lifetime at this point, but I could not be more ecstatic about this. The inside of the strap is rotten. I've already sent a couple of pictures to some buddies, and I'm getting some feedback that I need to get dimensions. So if I check the dimensions right here of the strap, we are at a 21. That's a 22 millimeter strap. I'll call it 22. Watch thickness is, because the crystal is below that, watch thickness is somewhere around 11 millimeters. The diameter, I'm going to take in all of that crown guard, all of that. I'm going to call it 46 millimeters without crown guard. Well, what do you know, 46. I'm going to call it 46 all day long. And the unique integrated sort of lugless design of the case, even less lug than a tuna. Let's take a look here. I'm going to call it about a 45 millimeters. We call it 44. So there you go. He had a unique way of wearing it by the looks of it. He had the head portion to the bottom of the watch and the tail, I would call it, to the top of the watch. I'm not quite sure if that's how he always wore it. Bit of a backstory from the previous owner, so I'm pretty stoked to have it. Such a story. Canadian Coast Guard and a dive instructor. And yeah, 23-year-old St. Moritz. I'm going to take the serial number and send it to Momentum and St. Moritz and ask them ask them a little bit about it. Sorry, I got distracted by the amount of wrist cheese in there. It's actually quite disgusting. And that is it, I suppose. If you're into pimple poppers, here's a little bit of wrist cheese for you, and look at that. I'm going to get a fresh strap on it here now in a minute and see how I feel about it. So definitely a 22 millimeter, but I just want to take a moment and just show how those lugs are integrated directly into the case. There you go. So I'm going to get a chance here now, and spring bars look in great condition, and I'm going to take a moment here now to straighten this up and put a strap on. All right, lots of strap options here for 22s. Most of my watches do have 22 millimeter straps on them. My problem comes with I have such a fat wrist, trying to get the straps to reach all the way around my wrist. Long enough straps, as it were. I do like that one. I've got this Zulu Diver one. I like this green one also. I wonder. Alright, there you have it. On a very distressed leather. We will try it on that for a while. I'm going to wear it tomorrow to work and bring it to the watch shop to have a battery put into it.